Hello, everybody. How are we all doing? I'm hoping incredibly well. Because, you know what? It's a Tuesday, and Tuesdays are. Hmm. I started with that sentence going somewhere, and then I completely lost track of why Tuesdays are important. But either way, let's have a fantastic day today. It's going to be a good time. However, this stream is on something that is slightly less positive, slightly less confident, something slightly less good. And it is all about the fun news surrounding Junior Firpo. Now, going to be completely honest with you, the banners down here, you won't necessarily be seeing through this stream, if you're watching it afterwards, through this video, because I will be completely honest with you, I have been working my socks off this morning, so I haven't had a chance to put them together. But this article caught my attention. I thought I would, on stream, read through it, talk through some of the potential outcomes of it, and discuss the general situation surrounding Junior Firpo. And again, I'm going to have to say there's a little bit of a pinch of salt going on this one, because it's from Team Talk, which means that it's never going to be like 100% verified, but it's from James Marshman, who tends to be fairly consistent when it comes to this kind of stuff. Hello to absolutely everyone in the chat, by the way. I'm doing pretty damn well, Danny. Man like Danny, indeed. Hi, by the way, Dr. Cox. And hello to Hannah and to Wet. But yeah, we need to talk about the Junior Firpo stuff. And it begins by saying that Junior Firpo looks increasingly certain to leave Elland Road this summer, with sources revealing the player has recently changed agents, which is one step that says that there are probably a lot of conversations going on with various different clubs, and including potentially ours, but clubs all over the shop saying, okay, we kind of want to sign you. What will it take to get that to happen? And if he's under a new agency, then he's more likely to be able to push that to be the case. And any transfer would obviously be on a free because he'd be out of contract by that point. Going to give it a very, very, very quick skim. There's a little bit about why Junior Firpo is improving, all that kind of stuff, but we all know why Junior Firpo is improving. It's because he's not being managed by Jesse Marsh, and he's been able to get consistent minutes and play with reasonable consistency and do fairly well. Deal due to expire. He's now represented by You First. Apparently, his new representatives already started working on his future, looking at the best possible option for next season. He's attracted a lot of interest from Spain, with 3 clubs having made proposals to sign him, one of which are Real Betis. This is the bit that was a little bit spooky. Everyone was looking at the situation and thinking, he's wanted a return to Spain for a while. If his prior club come in for him, that's where things get a little bit complicated, because he might just want to return home. Because let's be honest, his time at Leeds United, not everyone was super kind to him. He's sort of had all sorts of crap thrown in his direction. And yeah, sure, he wasn't the best player for an extended period of time. But that doesn't mean that giving him shit is the best way forwards. But it's the way forwards that a lot of fans chose, and that is a little bit of a shame. But it's okay. It'll all work out fine. Because he definitely improved. And he is now one of the side's key creators and is a fundamental part of the way that we attack, and is increasing importance defensively. So he's definitely improved in his time at Leeds United. It's just, will we see the fruits of that improvement? There are no further details about the other clubs that have an interest in signing Junior Firpo, but that's from the article. I do have a distinct memory of someone telling me that Junior Firpo was potentially looking at a move to Real Sociedad, which is another league club. It sort of adds up because Sociedad are in a reasonably strong position, but are a side that he would happily go to because he knows that their La Liga future is basically guaranteed. If he were to leave Leeds United for a side in Spain's top division, I feel like he would be leaving Leeds United for a side in Spain's top division that would be able to stay there for a long period. So giving a very quick search, for example, to La Liga 2. Never mind. I can't even find that on FBref. Okay, La Liga 2. If he were to go to Mirandes or something, then I would call him a lunatic, because that is a side that is barely going to get promoted, if they do get promoted, and then potentially come right back down. That's where you get an issue. But if you can go to someone like a Real Sociedad, who are currently 12th, or Real Betis, who are 6th, who will probably be in Europe next year, then that is a big leap forward for him. And that is ultimately what he's going to want to do, because he can play European football next season and do it at a place that he called home. I would ideally love to keep Junior Firpo, but the realism of that is where the question mark comes in. And it gets a little bit spooky, because it goes from, cool, we've got the best left back in this division, to, do we have a left back for next season? Which I don't really like being in the position of. It's a little bit of a weird position to be in. Firpo's improved, yes, it depends on where we are next season. It does, absolutely, but I think that regardless of whether it's Premier League or Championship, he's potentially going to be looking at that move just because of what he can be offered elsewhere. Live stream is an unexpected surprise. I'm glad. I'm hoping you mean in a good way, because if it's in a bad way, I'm going to feel real sad. Let's go with good way, and then if it turns out to be bad way, I think you just don't tell me, and then we can just roll through it. It'll be completely fine. There are some conversations going on around who Leeds could potentially replace Junior Firpo with, which include some options that I feel are a little bit tough for us to nail down. So one key example would be Milos Kerkez, who is currently, off the top of my head, playing at Bournemouth. At Bournemouth, yeah. Plays as a left back. He's been doing pretty well. Played 29 times this season, 2 goals, 5 assists. Not too many yellow cards either, which is always something that Junior Firpo has struggled with. But as a fan base, it feels like a lot of the time we're really good at setting the expectations that little bit too high in a place that we can't reach right now. So Kerkez is, yes, at Bournemouth. You've got to think about where Bournemouth are in the league. So we're a side that would only just be coming up. Bournemouth are currently 10th, firmly mid-table, not at risk of relegation. Probably won't be at risk of relegation next season either. Which puts us at a disadvantage in that conversation. The additional conversation is that you'd need to look at the opportunity cost for Kerkez. You've got to look at, if he were to come to Leeds, what is he turning down to do that? Which, in this specific case, is Liverpool. Because apparently Liverpool are taking a look at him too. So you got to find quality that's at an affordable level. You got to find the Rafinhas of the world, I think. I wonder if he goes to Valencia to be reunited with Carlos. That won't happen, I don't think. I think Valencia are too much of a mess at the minute. They're currently one point above the relegation zone in Spain and are looking horrible. 1 point per game. So I think if he's going to move anywhere, he's going to find a side that are at least a good enough level for him to be certain that he'd be playing in a top division the season after next, because he won't want to sign a 1-year deal, because a 1-year deal for a player is insanity. That's basically shooting yourself in the foot and saying, yeah, well, we'll find out what goes on. If what goes on is bad for you, then you can't really protect yourself from it. OSD2, because without Leeds can only do me good. You'd think so, wouldn't you? But we'll find out how we're doing towards the end of it. I'm also considering using this little 2-week period to drop a couple of bits about the Leeds Creator Cup that I've been working on in the background. Woohoo. We've got many, many details that I believe could be discussed at some point very, very soon, but I'm not going to just yet. Wish him all the best. We'll get another left back, so I'm not worried. If we don't get promoted, he would have gone anywhere. This is a fair point, yeah. I don't think there's a world in which we stay in the Championship and Junior Firpo stays unless he scores 17 own goals in the remainder of the season, and that's the reason we don't go up. That's the only thing that I think would put sides off. Whoever the replacement is, they won't be anywhere near as cool. I know, he just oozes charisma. But that's an ooze that might not be ours anymore. It might not be ours anymore. Hey, see, I did that. But we'll have to see, I guess. Hi, Joe, make a great captain. Junior Firpo? Or Kerkez? Because this is where I get confused. I know you're dreaming, and he definitely won't. Be good if we can keep Firpo. I agree, to be honest with you. Like, because whilst Dave is saying good, he's nothing special, we can get better, you've got to look at the numbers, right? So let's have a look. Junior Firpo. Firpo. I don't know if Firpo would make a good captain. That's a bold claim, to say the least. Maybe. I'm not going to immediately shut that down, but it'd be tough. It'd be firmly tough. Right, let's pop open that tab. Right. And go to player stats. Come on, FBref. I love that FBref sometimes just takes forever to load, but we'll get there. Scored more goals than Bamford this season. Rude. But I did also do the maths where if Firpo was given the goal last weekend, he would have been QPR's third top scorer for the season, which is honestly fairly good for a left back. You're not going to complain about that. That's incredible numbers. Yeah, FBref is just not having it at the minute, which kind of sucks because I kind of need it to. But we'll get there. Leif Davis, I don't know. Because I like Leif Davis, don't get me wrong. Leif Davis, fantastic player. In attack. The thing is, he's basically just a Firpo copy and paste, and if we're saying we need to move on from Firpo, ideally you want to move on in an upwards direction. I think Davis is just a sideways move. And if you're taking the sideways option, then there's going to be significantly cheaper than Leif Davis on the market. So Davis would be good. As I said by Hannah here, the sort of romance side of me is Leif Davis coming back when we're in the Premier League and really making his mark would be spectacular. But I don't know how feasible that is to do. In terms of cost, in terms of his level, in terms of everything. And it's a big pile of question marks. So yes, I'd love Davis. But I don't know if Davis is super viable. I'd like him to be. But you can never know. Firpo's on a big wage, isn't he? That's the question. Let's have a look. What's the website that does the wages? Is it that? Give me a moment and then I'll let you know. That's annual. So his base was in the Premier League 60 grand a week. So it would be 33 grand a week that he's currently on because it's not been adjusted since shenanigans, which is genuinely sort of not the worst. That's roughly what upper level championship players get paid. So whilst it is a big wage, it's not one that is sort of disproportionate or anything. Maybe it would be a case of we'd need to pay him more if he were to stay. But again, that would be in the Premier League where he'd revert to his 60 grand a week anyway. So, yeah. Absolutely, it's not something to be sniffed at. But it's not ridiculous money compared to the rest of the championship, is more the point that I'm trying to make with that one. Also, interestingly, he took a big pay cut from Barca to come to Leeds, which is kind of fun. I like that. Caleb Wiley would be a pretty good shout. I don't know if Caleb Wiley is particularly gettable, though. Where does he play at the minute? Is he at Watford? On loan from Chelsea? Oh, I'm not convinced. Unless I'm reading the wrong info. Yeah, this season he's played 8 matches in total across 2 clubs, with 1 assist to his name. So he's decent, but if he's not really playing at Watford, I don't know whether that's because of injury, whether that's because of anything else. But if he's not getting matches at Watford in the Championship, I don't know whether he would at Leeds in the Premier League. Which is tough. What's Bamford on the loan players? I don't know about the loan players. I know that Bamford is his number tends to get massively exaggerated. So, like, I believe it'll be mid-40s at the minute because he had the 50% cut. So, yeah, initially he was on 70 grand a week. That was before the 45% pay cut. So, half it and add 5%, 38.5 a week, which is a lot for a player that is very, very injured a lot of the time. But it's all right, isn't it? Solomon is on 60. Rothwell is apparently on 8, but I don't know if that one's particularly going to be true. Is that all the loanies? I think that's all the loanies. Love Ampadu, but he's not loud enough. I got the opposite impression from that one, I'll be completely honest with you. Against QPR, I feel like the issues we had were that the structure defensively had been breaking down. And the way that you sort of resolve that is by having Ampadu in there. Because Ampadu came out of there, and then all of a sudden we're conceding silly goals based on the defensive structure. And the way that I sort of look at that is, well, shit, that's a little bit of a correlation to, it's a little bit too much of a correlation to ignore because one player came out, suddenly their area of the pitch got disorganised. That tells me that Ethan Ampadu was doing a bigger job than we think at centre-back. So it would be very nice if he could be back after the international break because, problems. Problems otherwise. Watford's a basket Classical Cup. It is a little bit, yeah. What's Vober on? Keep in mind these are estimates. They are not 100% certain. 35 grand, but signed in the Premier League. So take the 45% off. So like 20 grand, give or take. Everyone overblows Pat. Everyone always overblows Pat's wages because it fits the hating narrative. There we go. That's how words. Cool. Yeah, I think people have the idea in their head already, and just keep swinging with it. When in reality, it's like he's not paid as much as you're saying. And yeah, him not being injured so much, wonderful. But we can't do that right now. So. Chelsea Firpo will obviously the 49ers have big plans, plus I'm not limiting myself to assuming Fark will be here next year. No, Easy B. Okay, so I've had conversations with you often enough to know that this isn't what you mean. The words you mean are not, I'm not limiting myself to assuming Farker will be here next year. The words you mean that are in your head are, I don't want Daniel Farker here next year. Because we know this. We know what your opinion is. And you can just be honest about that because we know that in advance. But, yeah, I mean, it's an annoying one. Because I would love us to keep Junior Firpo around because Junior Firpo is what you want to see in a Leeds player for me. He came in and then there were problems and everyone saw that there were problems. He wasn't great, but he had what you needed to improve and develop and get better. So, I'm being diplomatic. No. Come on, just swing in with it. Say what you're feeling. That's fine. I don't mind that. We got to have that honesty up in here. But I think Junior Firpo is the ultimate what you want to see in a player where like the start was not ideal for him. But you know what? He didn't just leave. He worked his bollocks off to get it done, to work his way in and to play really well. And being able to do that is, I think, absolutely essential. It's inevitable we'll have a clear outcome this summer. It's necessary if we want to stay up, but I will really miss some players and it'll take me some time to get over. I'm still not over Georgie. I'm also still not over Georgie, but that is because he was a different shape of exciting. Georgie was something that you didn't see very often at Leeds, and it was a player that not only does it for the badge, but has the sheer talent and madness to be able to try it. he had sort of all the little bits that you wanted in a player. And it kind of sucks that might not be sticking around. Firpo's not going anywhere. This is very confident for a player that is out of contract and currently has a variety of La Liga clubs talking to him. It would be nice if he didn't, but I feel like realistically could be. I'm leaning towards he's probably gone in the summer, as much as I don't want that to be the case. It sadly looks like it is. The question is Firpo good enough for the Prem? I am going to come in with a relatively controversial opinion on this one and say that I do think Junior Firpo is good enough for the Premier League now. I think the issue with Firpo at first was that he was adapting, was that he was taking time to sort of shift into English football gear and kept getting injured. And him being injured time and time again meant that he couldn't get his fitness. And if you're not fit as a defender, then you're not going to be able to keep up with top-level players. However, this has turned around. His fitness has improved vastly. He's gotten more minutes. So why would you complain? I feel like he's got it in him now to continue that growth and maybe do it in the Premier League. I would still buy a left-back in the summer. I will be completely honest about that. I don't think it is a good idea to go into next season without signing a new starting left-back. But I think as a depth option, at the very least, Junior Firpo is perfect. I don't know how viable that is. I don't know what other offers he has on the table. We know that Betis is one of them. We know that Sociedad is probably another one. No idea on the third. I'll be completely plain with you. But that's where I'm sat. I'm sat in the place of hopefully we can keep him. And this is another pretty good point as well in terms of contract length. Leeds won't offer Firpo what La Liga says can in terms of contract length. This is true. Yeah, we could probably do 2-3 years, which it doesn't make him a long-term solution, but he makes him a short-term option, which I guess in a way we could then sell to Firpo and say, look, you've got this as like a guaranteed income for at least the next year. Then you can go to La Liga because you'll still only be 29, 30 and finish up your career at home. If we're able to have that conversation with him and persuade him in that direction, then I think that's a pretty big win for us. It's a pretty important win too. What is also a pretty important win is if you pop a like on the stream. Haha, thank you. That's so cheesy. I hate doing those read things, and I'll have to do more of them in the coming era because things I can't talk about yet. But it always feels really awkward, right? I don't know. I'm going to have to get better at that, aren't I? We'll see. We paid 15 million plus add-ons for Firpo. Did we? Was it that high? I'm not convinced. I thought it was 12. Let's have a look. No. Just a flat 15, as far as I can tell. And that is euros. Keep it up, I have to go. That's okay, Paul. Have a lovely afternoon. And, I shall see you around. It doesn't have to do as much defending in the Championship with more of the ball. This is also fair, but he's also pretty good when it comes to the defensive stuff. There's no points at which I'm like, Firpo's on the pitch, we're going to get immediately counted. He's definitely improved in terms of the technical side of stuff, which admittedly is against easier players, but he still has to tell his body to do the specific thing. And that's what makes that little bit of a difference to me. It's if he is able to physically do the stuff, then that's what kind of counts. There is this, fully amortized, so there will be no cost on PSR stuff, which is kind of why it's a bit of a shame that we've not sold him, because it would have been nice to have some profit. But, that kind of thing happens. Anyway, what I'm going to do, because I have to return to work fairly shortly, I'm doing this on my lunch break, which is probably unwise because I've not had too much to eat today. But I'm going to take us over to the one banner that I have prepared in advance, which is Questions Corner. If anyone's got any questions of any shape or form, chuck them in my general direction, and I will do my best to answer them. Sorry I've not been around the channel so much in the last few weeks, by the way. Various work things getting busy and charity match things getting busy at the same time, squashed together, and have meant that doing videos has become significantly more tricky. You have a lunch break, show off. It's more of a I'm self-employed and I just have a list of things to do. I've just given myself like an hour in the middle between doing the things. So I'm trying to be more organized, Han. I'm doing my best. I'm doing what I can. Anyway, yeah. So any questions about the Firpo stuff? Any questions about the charity match stuff? Any questions about channel stuff? Just let me know. When are me and Crystal doing a live stream again? This is a very good question. I will ask her now. Side note, by the way, someone in my stream chat just asked if, just asked when we're next. The issue is last week we completely forgot, like both of us, which is a sign of how work was going. Doing a good job. Thank you, Wayne. I appreciate that. I hope to one day be able to understand amortization. Ha ha ha. Well, okay. So, can I use that whiteboard? No, I can't. Maybe I can. Anyway, if you have a contract that is worth £20 million over 5 years, so you say we pay £20 million for Milos Kerkez when we go up. The way that the value of that contract is assigned is £4 million per year of the contract. So after a year, that contract is now worth £16 million. So if you sell that player for £20 million, whilst in pure money terms you've made £0 of profit, in PSR terms, because it's a devalued asset, you've made £4 million of profit. That roughly explains amortization stuff, I think. I'm relying on Hannah because she does accounting. But basically, as a contract reaches its expiry, its value diminishes year on year. That's amortization. As far as I understand it, there are likely things that I'm not understanding, but that's my understanding of it, in spite of the fact that I'm probably being dumb. When can we buy tickets for the charity match? Can I be security? Can my Spurs bet half be ball boy? Also, yes, good basic explanation. Yes! We can buy tickets as soon as the website is up. I don't think I announced that there was a website. There's going to be a website, which is where you can get tickets, where you can find the donation link, everything. I wonder, actually. Is that up already? I'm trying to get to the website, but it's not working. But it's not been like designed yet, so be fine. There it is, leedscreatorcup.com, which is, yeah, it's looking quite nice, hopefully. Scary, but once that website is up, it will be good for ticketing time. We'll be making general donations and stuff, but what I'm saying is don't do any form of, this is why I've not got any donation pages up yet. Don't do any donations until the ticketing is up, because ideally, if you're able to get it through the ticketing stuff, all that money's going to like be donated anyway. And it's sort of evidence of, cool, I paid for a ticket, I can get in, and it very much helps us keep track of numbers, is the thinking. After a 2-week rest, it's irrelevant that he doesn't take a chance with Aronson again. I don't know, because I think a lot of Aronson's issues are tiredness more than anything. because like you could tell it was just brain switch off when he played that loose ball, which hopefully isn't going to be an issue anymore this season. I wouldn't mind us starting Nonto, but it's not one of those situations where I'm like, no, it needs to be Willie Nonto, like a lot of people are, because Aronson's been pretty damn good for the entire season so far, so I'm not going to be too mad. Would have been fun to play in that game against you. So with that, I'm keeping it as creator-focused as possible. So as many people as I can get that are creators in the Leeds United space, they're going to be in the match. The only times that people aren't is if they're not available or they're injured. Beyond that, if we need to pad out people, I've got a couple of ideas. We've got someone that is sponsoring the event that has an interest in playing, so we're going to be happy to chuck them on the bench. And then we'll work from there in case we need any sort of viewery people to get involved. But the ideal world is we don't need to get any viewery people involved, and that sounds bad, but it's more of it's a potential big insurance problem if viewers and stuff get involved, and insurance can be expensive, so I don't want to have to deal with that. Would I right in thinking that Joe's quite an accomplished footballer? I wouldn't say accomplished. I would say I play in a... I don't know if you heard that, but that was my elbow. Because you reminded me of 7-a-side last night, where I was in that full stretch with this arm, and this 6'6" guy has cannoned a shot at me, and I'm like, it's fine, I'm not going to get anywhere near. It'll look like I've tried. I was wrong. Got my hand to it, pushed it wide, but it like bent my elbow like backwards. So like you can see, that's not straight. That's not a straight line. It goes that way now, which was good. It sort of hyperextended it a little bit. And I wouldn't really say accomplished at all, because the fact that a shot made me go, oh, I might be regretting this now, is an issue. Goalkeeper-ish. So in terms of 11-a-side stuff, I've not played a competitive game in net, in full-size nets, in between 12 and 14 years. So I wouldn't say I'm still a goalkeeper right now. Hopefully play an 11-a-side again next season. That'd be nice. Yeah. Knees uninsurable since the cruciate rupture, but I can't bring myself to get rid of my boots. Oh, damn it. Well, that's one player out. Got any feedback from KG or Dave LUC we can get excited by? Dave LUC, yes, he managed to see my email. I got back to him shortly afterwards. There's various bits of like forms and stuff that I'm needing people to do. But I'm waiting on those at the minute. If he doesn't get back to me, I'll just chase him up. In terms of KG, no, because I just haven't gotten around to reaching out, because I've not looked for his email yet, because I've been talking to sponsors and venues and vendors. Bit chaotic. You really told them below 6 foot. I'm 6 foot or 6'1". It's kind of signed up, and as everyone has to be on the opposition team. The good thing about it is everyone is really friendly, because you would not believe how many Leeds creators I've got in one group chat right now, which I would call quite a fucking lot, including Connor and a couple of Square Ball guys and Joe and anyone that you can think of. A big shout out to the Square Ball, by the way, who a few weeks ago in one of their propaganda episodes was like, Joe Blackburn's organising a charity match, isn't he? And Michael says, first I've heard of it. I asked Michael if he wanted to play in January. Is Joe Wimman playing? Joe Wimman is playing. I know. Keep in mind, all of these are subject to injury. Because I know that Joe is doing a charity run and then the charity walk with me. So if he gets injured in either of those, that could be a problem. The same applies for everyone else potentially getting injured. But yes, no idea. I know, it's fine. I just thought I'd discuss it. Danny from Nalp. Danny from Nalp is absolutely in there, yes. I can tell you what position he wants to play as well, if you want. this is the detail and stuff that needs to go into this, because it's sort of like, oh, okay, this can't be too hard. Book a venue, get a production team, whack it together. It's not that easy. Deciding who plays in which team may prove problematic. It's a problem that we're working on a solution to. Keep Wayman at left back. Where did Joe say that he wanted to play? I can have a look for you, actually. This isn't really a spoiler. Like, this is fine. He said right back. But why are we saying left back? I'm confused. Is Joe coming over? The idea is that Joe is coming over, but it's work dependent. So if work doesn't work, this is why we're not sort of like pushing like a Joe's definitely there kind of thing, because it depends on if he's available and all that kind of stuff. So it's fairly tricky. Said he was better than Firpo. Did he? Jesus. That's a hell of a shout. Especially, I mean, right back is effectively just left back, but on the other side. So you can still judge. We can still work it out. Oscar has been reached out to. Has said that he would be interested, but wasn't certain. In fact, I can have a quick look now, actually. Hopefully be able to, and if I can, I'd absolutely love, but I'm not sure where I'll be around that date. Might be working abroad. Will let me know slightly closer to time in April or May. That's the gist. So ideally, he's absolutely there. But who knows? That's how left and right work. I know, I thought I worked something out, but big brain. Tremendous brain. It was keeper and now plays a striker. In the 7-a-side league that I'm in, flit between the two. Where sometimes I will goalkeep, sometimes I will wing. And like another thing that I've had to overthink the hell out of in this thing is how we keep it competitive. Because we've got one person who is signed up being like, hello, I'm a Sunday league goalkeeper. And it's like, cool, okay, it's good to have a goalkeeper, because a lot of the time the issue that you get is no one wants to goalkeep. But how do we nerf you? How do we make you worse? So that is going to be a interesting job. I think the idea is both teams are going to have a keeper each half. As in, like, you'll have two keepers, each does a half, and then you work from there. One being a good keeper, one being a less good keeper on each side. Which should, in theory, keep things nice and balanced. But you can never know. But yeah. Anyway. Do we need a ref? We have someone that has agreed to be a ref. We could do a linos, but we have a ref. Something that I recently realized we need to work out. Better than that. And I will show you what is better than that at some point soon. Because yes, I'm so happy with how things are working out at the minute. But yeah, it'll be fun. We've got plans. But yes, linos are probably needed. And ball people was something that hadn't been considered, that now I think about it, should probably be considered. But if it comes to it, I will just ask a local scout group or something. It'll work out. It'll be fine. But anyway, I'm going to leave the stream there for now, because it's nice having a chat, but I have overrun by like 10 minutes and I need to get back to work fairly urgently. I hope you enjoyed the stream. If you did, pop a like in it. That would always be hugely appreciated. Helps things to keep pushing forward in terms of the channel. Subscribe if you're not yet as well. That's always spectacular. And you could even be a channel member or do a super chat or something like that, because all of this channel's revenue up until the date of the charity match is going towards the charity match. So either various costs that are around getting it done, or just directly to the charity. And yeah. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. Have a spectacular day. And I will see you later. Toodaloo.